Korea's Swiss World of Yodeling by Peter Lim and Bart Plantenga. Dawn of the Korean Yodel. It is estimated that there are over 3,000 amateur yodelers in Korea, making it one of the more enthusiastic yodel nations. The amateur clubs seem to do well, but there are few professionals. This may mean that Korea has many fans and practitioners, but few who want to spend their ones on yodel seas or concerts. The yodel came to Korea via Japan or Manchuria after the demise of the Joseon dynasty, and Japan annexed Korea in 1910. The renowned Korean pop singer Choi rose to fame during the period of Japanese annexation with a jazzy, code for Western style, popular song. The title of one of his songs sounds something like Yoo-rei-ti of Love, which was very similar to Star of the Mountain, as sung by Japanese singer Nakano Tadaharu. The songs had similar melodies and lyrics, but one was in Korean and the other in Japanese. In any case, they were both released in 1934. More interestingly, they were both Asian versions of Alpine Milkman, composed by UK songwriter love사랑의, which later became a minor hit for yodeler Montana Slim. After World War II, Korea experienced a period of great hardship, and in 1950, the invasion by the United States, which led to 3 years of war and the partition of the country into North and South Korea. Choi had meanwhile crossed over into North Korea in 1949, where he died that same year and became largely forgotten. That is, until the 1990s anyway, when his Yoo-rei-ti of Love was rediscovered. Although the song is not terribly relevant to today's yodeling according to Korean yodeler Lim Choon Hyon of website HiFi, it remains a significant if weird footnote in Korean pop music history. Most agree that yodeling really only became popular after 1950. The apocryphal story goes that a mountain climber sang the famous Austrian yodel song Archduke Johann Yodel's Song, which was translated into Korean, but no one knows by whom. The best guess is that it was popular among old mountaineers. Since then, this song has been a very popular one among Korean one version and Japanese yodelers 3 different translations. The Cold War introduced American culture via American military personnel stationed in South Korea. Korean singers came into contact with Americans and learned to sing and yodel in the American and European styles, often in Korean translation. Rotation blues. I got the rotation blues. I'm a lonely soldier sitting in Korea. I'm a lonely soldier sitting in Korea, but rotations come in so I shouldn't have no fear. With its yodel chorus and Hank Williams-style voice breaking on the rotation, the song is about the loneliness of being stationed far from home. 9051 Cowboy Songs Copyright 9051 by Tannen Music, Incorporated. It was covered by Elton Britt, Bill Monroe, Ken Marvin and Hoji Carmichael, some with and some without yodeling. Americans stationed in Korea had their own country western bands to entertain the troops on the bases, but they often featured South Korean singers and musicians. Korean musicians quickly learned the pop standards, mostly country and western, which was popular among American troops at that time. Chun Hang is remembered as the first country yodel singer in Korea to sing chime bells in English, which either charmed, impressed, or spooked mixed audiences. He may have been pretty well known at the time, but he has sadly drifted into obscurity with no one certain whether he is alive or dead. Then along came Sir Soo Nam, who performed Mule Skinner Blues, Long Gone Lonesome Blues and Mountain Song, Origin Trizim Yodel, performed by Grandpa Jones for US troops. His Korean yodel versions of these hits, although drifting ever further from the originals, soon eclipsed the originals in popularity in Korea. Especially Men of the Men, which included his own Korean lyrics to the melody of Long Gone Lonesome Blues. By the 1960s, he was reasonably renowned, having produced some 10 albums, but today he is largely forgotten. One day, singer Kim Hong-chul heard something totally enchanting on the radio, Swiss yodeling. He looked into it at the library, discovering it was a Swiss and Austrian style of singing. He compelled his high school teacher to compose a letter in English to Zurich's daily newspaper, the Tages Anzeiger. They responded by sending him tapes of Swiss yodels including Wo Losen of Wegesu and Min Vader Ischin Appenzeller, which he eventually learned and made famous. He practiced yodeling along to the tapes. One day the newspaper asked him to send some samples of his yodeling. He sent a recording and the newspaper eventually invited him to Switzerland. So for 3 months he yodeled for the Swiss in Switzerland. He learned a lot about yodeling during his stay and returned to Korea to much media fanfare and a recording contract. In the period 1970 to 1986, he developed into a unique yodeler singer in Korea, transforming the Swiss style into something Korean, and that is why he is called the father of Korean yodeling today. He remains the only Korean yodeler to ever be able to make a career out of yodeling. He was also heard by Japanese audiences. In 1993, he emigrated to Vancouver and his activities and whereabouts remained unknown until 2003. Despite his breakthrough, there have been very few Korean yodel records since his heyday. During the period 1970 to 1980, he released 7 yodel records and had some 80 hits and other commercial recordings. He established yodel clubs all over Korea and helped repopularize Korean yodeling, which is another reason why he is the father of Korean yodeling. In 2003, he returned as a yodel singer and currently leads his own band, Kim Hong-chol, and his friends. When asked who his mentor was, he mentioned the great Swiss speed pop yodeler Peter Hinen, although his own style is more country and western than alpine. But then again, Hinen also translated a number of country and western songs into Swiss versions that combined elements of both styles. Part of the commercial problem may be that Koreans, like the Japanese, prefer country and western, with only the Korean yodel fanatics preferring the alpine-style yodel. 3 of his most popular songs were A Beautiful Berner Valley is a Korean adaptation of the Swiss folk song Das Berner Oberland, which was the first alpine-style yodel to be sung in its native Swiss German. It placed second in the Heidelin Yodel popularity poll. A Beautiful Chalet is a Korean version of the famous Austrian-style yodel, Das Kupfsteiner Lied, composed by Karl Ganser. A Less Beautiful Switzerland was an adaptation of She Taught Me How to Yodel, voted most popular yodel in Korea in the Heidelin poll. It was already popular in 1970 as sung by prominent Japanese yodeler Willie Okiyama. Kim Hong-chol popularized another version by Japanese-style yodeler Ono Yoshio, a friend of Kim's who played banjo on his second album. Recently, this song gained an entire new life when Korean megapop star Rain yodeled it in Kim's style in the video trailer. From the Park Chan-wook film I'm a Cyborg, But It's Okay, Rain is seen secretly communicating with a woman, Lim Soo-jung, via an old-fashioned play telephone, cops linked by string between their rooms in a decidedly chic-looking insane asylum. When she hears his yodeling, she begins rubbing her feet together and her bed goes airborne, courtesy of a large fly, and suddenly she is transported or teleported to the realm of flying ecstasy, all because of the yodeling. Impressive visually and yodelingly indeed. He has made this already popular yodel song in Korea mega popular. Other Korean films with yodeling. Bad Conduct, 2002. P. Director, Cho Gwen-sik. Leading actor and actress, Lee Eun-kyung, Ryu Sung-bom. Includes a short yodel interlude. Show Me, 2003, omnibus independent and unreleased movie director, Lim Phil-sung starring Park Hae-il. Just yodel forkware and musical instruments and dubbing yodeling. Secret Charity of a Female Professor, 2006. Director, Yeah, starring Woonsori and Jijine, who yodels a few bars of Dorf Jodler by Rudi Meixner. Despo Girl, 2006. Director, Lee Jae-young starring Kim Ok-bain and Park Jin-woo. The Korean Bazaar Yodel Club sings 2 yodel songs. The Chicken Yodel and Yodel Sweet Molly. Lead actor Kim Ok-bin also yodels. One notable release that has reinvigorated interest in Korean yodeling was Korea's Best Yodel, Korean Yodel 40th Anniversary. 2006 on HiFi. Korean Yodel fans in 2006 voted for their 9 favorite yodeling songs. 8 amateur Yodel clubs recorded the Yodel winners especially for this compact disc. While the 9th track, a favorite of Kim Hong-cheol's titled Vol Luzon of Wegus Zoo, was performed using traditional Korean musical instruments, which made it a particularly special compact disc for Korean yodelers. It serves as an homage to Swiss yodeling but also as a calling card to the rest of the yodeling world to feel a connectedness through yodeling. As American Yodel great Randy Irwin noted in the liner notes, includes She Taught Me How to Yodel by the Masan Alpenrose Yodel Club of Masan, a medium-sized city in southeastern Korea. Bergvagabanden by the Korean Alpenrose Yodel Club, Seoul, and Kuku Yodeler by the Busan Alpenrose Yodel Club. Lim Choon Hyon is a yodeler and a yodel activist who runs the Korean yodel website HiFi. Bart Plantenga is the author of Yodel-yu, The Secret History of Yodeling Around the World, and is currently writing a second book, Yodel in HiFi, which will include a chapter on Korean yodeling. See also his Bart Yodel blog.